Welcome, my friends, to Life Interrupts Us. It's my podcast. It's new. This is season 1, and we're excited about it. This season, we're focusing on relationships and all aspects of it. We're going to talk about dating. We're going to talk about friendship. We're going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about romance. We're going to talk about having low standards and lofty expectations. We're going to talk about fathers, parents, children. We're going to try to cover everything that speaks to the realm of relationships. But here's how we're going to do it. We're going to do it with style. We're going to do it with my style. My style? I'm glad you asked. I'm a storyteller. Yes, in other realms of my life, I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, author, all that good stuff. But in this particular realm, I'm a storyteller. And boy, do I have stories to tell. Some of them will make you laugh. Some of them, they'll be tough to hear. Some of them come with lessons that I've learned that maybe you can learn. Some of them, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm going to keep it real on this podcast so that you can know that I'm authentic, that I'm not playing around with just being another guy with another podcast, rambling on. Nah, I got some real stuff to say. I have some real lived experiences, some of them exciting, some of them devastating. But all of them are centered around this one fact. Life interrupts us all. I just decided I want to start talking about it. I want to start talking about some of the interruptions that I've had. And I've had a lot. So this season, as we focus on relationships, you'll hear me talk quite a bit about the interruptions that I've had. Things that didn't go right. Some things that did. Either way, just keep tuning in. Buckle up. Because Stephen Wayne is going to keep it all the way real. So, let's get ready to overcome the interruptions. All right. Hey, welcome to another episode of Life Interrupts Us, the podcast. I am your storyteller, Stephen Wayne, and this episode is special, just like the one with my mama was special, because I have one of my closest friends um, hanging out with me today. We go back a couple of decades and some change, and it's been quite a journey. To my left, my man Mike Henry, owner of Mike Henry's Barbecue Company. He is not just a friend, I consider him a brother, um, and a confidant, and a hell of a barbecue man. His brisket, top shelf. And today, I brought him here so that we could talk about something that I have actually shot 2 other episodes already about this topic. Actually, 3. Friendship. You know, he and I are from the 80s. So in the 80s, Houdini was one of my favorite groups. They were one of my favorite groups to see perform live. Um, they were one of my favorite groups to rock their music. But their classic is timeless. Friends. How many of us have them? Yeah. And I've gone through some very interesting changes in this last year as it pertains to friendships. And it's caused me to really take a really strong look at what I consider a friend to be, whether or not the friend is a personal friend or whether or not it's a transactional relationship, or if there's an element of both within the friendship. So, um, in thinking about this episode for the 4th time now, and I'll tell you, you talk about life interruptions, we've had all kind of technical difficulties. We had some emotional issues. One of the episodes I was a little too emotional. It's been crazy. And so I was like, you know what? I need to bring my brother on because he and I would have the most authentic, real conversation about friends that friends could have. And I know he'd keep it real. And we're gonna say some stuff that's crazy. Some of y'all might uh, hit us up in the inbox later and be like, "Ooh, you shouldn't have said that.
You shouldn't have said
that."
that.
Like, right?
Yeah.
And so I'm gonna apologize to you now because we love to say all kind of stuff. But this is my guy, Mike Henry, and I'm just glad that you came tonight or today and hang out with me and introduce yourself to the people, man. Tell them about yourself.
Oh man, you just did. I am Mike Henry. I own a barbecue restaurant, and shoot, man, this is called Life Interrupts Us, and yeah, life has been interrupting me. I mean, it's been interrupting everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm no different than the next person that life interrupts. You know, I'm just here to talk about some of that, and yeah, I'm a business owner, but I've done a lot of things. I've done, yeah, I done lost count.
He can shoot you. He can,
man.
He can tackle you and arrest you.
Yeah, I went from.
He can save you a car.
You know, growing up, I didn't have focus on what I wanted to do. I was good at a lot of things, and so I'm that rabbit hole dude. I get into something and then I just get laser focused and just start going deeper and deeper. It happened with art and graffiti art.
He's really good at it.
Yeah.
He's really, really good at it.
Yep. But I wasn't the best artist. I loved it so much that I would just practice and practice until I got better. But I was still never as good as the guys. I envied the guys. To this day, man, I got a buddy who's probably one of the dopest artists that I've ever known, my boy Abel, and I was never able to get as good as him. Him, Cartoon, I was in the crew with him, the tattoo artist guy's real name's Mark Machado.
I met him.
Mm-hmm.
I met him at the last car show, me and Blake, and mentioned your name, and he knew exactly who you were.
Yeah, he knows me. Yeah, I used to, I've been through a lot of stuff with him back in the day with airbrushing at car shows and stuff like that. But yeah, I got off into that. I was a school teacher.
That's probably one of your jobs that we probably can't really touch on in no real deep way.
No, because I know if I start talking about
somebody,
y'all gonna be offended because you're probably talking about some of your children. So I'm not gonna even go there. You know about your kids. Hey, easy, champ. We can't even get into that because y'all know how your kids are. So this is why I'm not teaching anymore. Facts. So,
man.
Yeah, but the list goes on from bounty hunting to armed security, transporting people, you name it. And now I'm in the restaurant business. This is the last hurrah for me.
This is it?
I ain't got nothing else. Well, for one, I'm 54, so I don't have time to start something new. My dad told me that one time when I told him I was doing security at the time, and he was like, "Hey man, we're getting a little too old to be trying stuff." My father said that. I live by that.
Everybody gotta have a dream.
How many dreams you gonna have?
Like you to wake up.
Right. So,
that's real though.
I got into barbecue in 2012, and I went down that rabbit hole. But see, I can already cook. But
he can get down.
Yeah, I really got into the craft of barbecue, and my goal in life was to perfect. Well, not perfect because nobody can really perfect it, but we're really good at making brisket. Yeah. So, yeah, some would beg to differ. I get reviews on this Yelp for people talking all kinds of great. Yeah, and I'm such a upfront, in your face type of person that I try not to be offended, but I take it personal.
Yeah,
It's hard not
it's
to.
your craft.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, I'm sure that Picasso got some critique and took it personal. I used to ask Mika. Well, I still do actually. I would whenever I was working on a new song, I would run it past Mika first because I've always believed that she had a fantastic ear for music and she has a very wide palette. And sometimes she would be like,
No.
what's that thing right there? What is that?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "That ding, 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 ding." I said, "That's a chime." She said, "I don't like that."
Like, why you got
And
time?
I'm like, "But that's the vibe that I'm feeling." And but it would hurt my feelings. She was like, "Man, I know she's not trying to hurt my feelings, but she's critiquing my art, my expression."
She's saving you from yourself.
Right.
That's what she's doing.
Well, I'm glad you're here, bro. We have so much to talk about, but this is a platform where I tell stories. Every single episode, there's a story that connects to the topic.
Oh, okay.
So
I knew you were doing a podcast, but it's a storytelling podcast.
Storytelling podcast.
People like stories.
They do. I love a good story.
Yeah, I got a lot of stories.
A good story.
I got stories for days.
I know you do. You could be like Life Interruptions Part 2.
I could do my own podcast. Right.
It's a franchise.
It is a franchise. This would be Life Interrupted After Dark.
Where the glass would be small.
Yep. And it would be brown. Yes, it would. You got that right. I sure would, man. Right. That's a good idea, man. So well, that's what Sipping Like It's Coffee was, but we were doing whiskey reviews. Man.
Yeah, that was dope though. That was a dope podcast.
It was. We're gonna me and Brian. We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it, but that's another.
And now that I've ventured down that rabbit hole with you, it turned me into a whiskaholic.
You stopped.
No, I stopped. I pulled back for a couple of different reasons, but one of them was the nutritional program I'm on right now. Although I recently found out that on the program I can drink whiskey so long as it doesn't have any sugar in it.
Whiskey don't have sugar in it.
Well, bourbon does.
Bourbon?
Yeah.
Bourbon is whiskey.
I know, but bourbon has sugar in it.
Well, since when? What bourbon?
Some of them.
Which some of them?
How they get sweet?
Well, Screwball. If you drinking that,
no, come on, I don't drink that no more. Screwball, come on, bro.
So
Screwball is
none of the whiskeys that I have in that cabinet in there.
But you get it.
Yeah, it's for children, it's for children, not your kids,
Not your kids.
It's for children. No, it doesn't have. I can't name one. The bourbon is bourbon, just like Scotch. It's all whiskey. All bourbon is whiskey, but all whiskey isn't bourbon. So it's if you get one that has had maybe finished in a rum cask.
See, that's what I'm saying.
But that's a finished whiskey.
Yeah, but I wouldn't know that. I wouldn't know that, so I couldn't take the chance.
All right.
Now look, I know we got off into the whiskey subject. Again, we don't want y'all, giving whiskey to y'all kids, but that's, we don't want you to do that.
But if you rub it on the gums to go to sleep, that does work.
Hey, that's what they used to use.
Yeah.
That's what they used to use.
Yeah.
Because them teeth were hurting from the children teething, and that hollering was hurting the parents' ears.
Yeah.
And that whiskey or that rum on the gums will do it every time. Don't do that to your kids. They got Ambisol and look, they got chemicals now to replace it. So you can catch all kind of other diseases. When some straight up whiskey alone would have just set them free. Now, anyway, so I want to tell this story because this story is hilarious to me. Our friendship goes back 21 years, 22 years. We met because my cousin, who was and is good friends with your ex-wife, invited us to your house for an event, a party. And by us, I mean me and my ex-wife, who was not my wife at the time. We were just dating. And
You brought her to my house?
yeah.
I don't. What? Mika was there, wasn't she?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Okay,
I
that
wasn't
was.
married to Mika at the time.
No, you
Mika
weren't
was in
married
my
to.
life, but no.
Okay.
And so we met. Come to find out that we ran in similar circles. We knew similar people that took so much so that we should have known each other when we were kids. Heck, at one point we went to the same church, just not at the same time.
Mm.
And it was crazy to see all these overlapping intersections with our connection, yet we hadn't been connected yet.
Yeah.
Probably for good reason, because we would have destroyed whole sections of the world. When you was Mad Dog and I was Rio,
Right.
Really been a problem.
Yeah.
That had wanted stickers on poles. So I was like, them two niggas, get them.
Yeah.
and so we go to your house. We're at this function. You and I, Milo introduces us. We hit it off, and we start talking about where we're from, and discover very quickly that we know people.
Yep.
Heck, you grew up with at least one or two of my ex-girlfriends from high school,
Yep.
which is crazy.
Yep.
And then I didn't see you again. Fast forward several months later, almost a year later, my cousin calls me and says, "Hey, can I bring a +1 to your wedding?" And I said, "Sure, of course." And while I didn't see her or you at the wedding, when I get to the reception was at my mom's house. And I'm walking just through the house, everybody's just festive, and people are dancing.
I was by myself.
And you was by yourself, sitting on my mom's stairs.
Where was my ex at the time?
She wasn't there. You came with my cousin.
Oh.
And
I'm thinking, why didn't she come?
no, she didn't come. I mean, she wasn't invited. I invited my cousin.
Mm.
And I mean, and not for any reason, but I invited my cousin. She asked for +1. I assumed that it was gonna be your ex-wife when she asked for it, but
it was me.
It was you. And I was like, I walked up to you, nigga, what you doing here? You sitting on my mom's stairs inside the house reading a book.
Yeah, I was on the stairs, but I was at the wedding too.
Yeah, but see, I didn't know who was and wasn't at the wedding.
Oh.
So I didn't see anybody out there. I was just focused on what I was doing.
Right.
And I was like, nigga, who brings a book to a wedding reception? And he was like, yeah, man, nigga like me. And I laughed and sat down next to you and asked you what you were reading. And again, it was a book that I would read. And I was like, I like this nigga.
Yeah.
I like this nigga. And then after that, we started shooting pool. And we just started hanging. And
Yeah.
we got tight quick. And that was cool because it wasn't like I was looking for another homie, but the way our friendship organically developed and the connection that we made was tight. And I'm glad to this day. I'm glad that Milo called me and said, "Can I bring a +1?" and that it was you, because had that not happened, we might have intersected again at your house or whatever, but maybe not. Because when you're at somebody's wedding, that's very personal.
Yeah.
So if you weren't invited and you're there, then it's curious. Like, why is this nigga at my wedding?
But I had already met you.
We had already met, but we hadn't hung out. We hadn't fished. We hadn't shot no pool. We hadn't done nothing. I met you that one time at your house.
Right.
And then I didn't see you again, for a while. And
it's funny because that's a blur.
Yeah,
I don't remember that. I remember you coming. I thought that you came to my house to shoot pool.
That was another time.
Because Kenny was there.
That was definitely another time.
Okay.
Yeah, that was another time. And because that time, that's when I was with Mika, and Kenny was there.
Oh, we was with Mika, but you weren't with Mika.
Yeah, we weren't married, but we were together.
Y'all wasn't even dating.
Oh no, you're right. We weren't.
No,
I was still married.
Because she was dating Kenny at one point.
Right. I was still married at
Yeah,
the time.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah. I was,
but my wife at the time, my spouse, she didn't come.
no,
I was over there. Kenny was over there because you said, hey man, you should come over and shoot some pool.
right.
I was like, that's what's up. I'll
Yeah,
come on over there. But
yeah, yeah.
again, that was after the wedding. So
True.
that was like, okay. Then we discovered that we both fish and we got all kind of stuff. Fishing and shooting pool and
Golf.
golf. We
Yep.
talk about rabbit holes. Let me tell y'all something. This
Yeah.
nigga bought $1,000 set of no, a $600 set of golf clubs. Couldn't play 5 minutes worth of golf, but we was in it. We was going to training and
Yeah, bro.
coaching. And
Yeah, rabbit hole, bro. That's what
we
I'm
was
saying. That's
trying to
what
get it.
I go down rabbit holes.
And then our coach told you, you should have talked to me before you did that.
Yeah, because he just so happened to have some
I
clubs.
done something better than that for you. So
Yeah.
thank you, coach, because he gave me expensive set of Callaways, which I still have. By the way. I sold my set, and then he bought an even more expensive set of golf clubs.
Yeah.
But hey, man, we used
And
to,
I sold them because
yes,
I
you
don't.
did.
Blame, I shouldn't have, but.
Did you make your money back on them? You ate it up. You ate some. They were
No,
pretty
I
high
think
end.
I charged him what I paid.
Oh,
Satterfield only charged me like $500 for them. I think he didn't charge me a lot of money for them, but they were used.
but they were the set that
They were
was
the upscale of the
upscale
one.
that you
Yeah,
gave me. Yeah,
yeah, the cavity backs. Yeah,
Mhm.
they were. Yeah,
Callaways. Yeah.
yeah. But then I had got off into going to buying Vokies and all kinds of other different kind of clubs. I went stupid with golf, bro. I went crazy with it. But yeah, no, that us meeting was very organic because neither one of us was looking for a friend.
Right.
We was cool where we were. I was cool where I was. I had enough friends, that I hung out with, but you don't really meet cool people. You be drawn to them because you like, man, I like hanging out with him because it's no pressure. That he not phony. You're not worried about this dude. Like, man, I don't know. I don't really know about him. You ever meet them people like,
Yep.
yeah, it's
Yep.
just something about him. Like, he different sometimes. So being consistent has been my forte for the longest. Like I'm usually the same.
Yes, you are.
You can talk to people today,
Yes.
and they say, yeah, he's still the same. He ain't
Yeah.
changed one bit. So I don't know. I don't necessarily take pride in being that way, but it's just the way I am. I'm just not. I try to be as authentic. Being authentic is who I am. Is being authentically me. I don't put on the front when I'm in front of other people, things of that nature. And I think that's what kind of drew us together. Is that like, yeah, I was in that book. I was that apologetics books I was reading.
Norman
I was into it, and I didn't know nobody at the reception.
Right.
So what I'm gonna do? You know what? I'm gonna sit on these steps and read this other chapter. Got some food, and yeah, I knew Milo. I knew you, but we didn't know each other that well.
Ah.
And yeah, so I sat on the steps.
And that was what was cool about that was it reminded me of me. I saw a reflection when I saw that because I already had experienced you in a social environment, so I saw that you had a big personality. But so I knew you weren't like double-minded. I summed it up quickly. I said, okay, he's at a place where he don't really know nobody here, and rather than try to force himself to be the big personality in the room, you was just chilling. But you wasn't just chilling, you was doing what you do. And you was reading. I was like, I like this.
Right.
Yeah, man. So we've had quite a history. It makes me think about, as I'm talking about this whole concept of friendship, and even some of the things that I've been through lately with people that I considered to be friends, and it doesn't seem like it's shaped out that way. But you said something interesting. You said the organic thing that we had was kind of centered around authenticity.
Yeah.
You were your authentic self. You know who you are tomorrow is who you were yesterday, and I'm the same way. And yeah, when you think about some friends that you've had that you had to kind of either walk away from or just put some distance between yourselves, you think about who they were from one day to the next. And it's like you're not always real, or you're not always authentic, or you are authentically terrible.
It's more of that.
Yeah, it's like you are
It's
really
more
bad
of
at
it's
being.
more of you my friend, but I don't like you enough to be around you for more than 8 hours.
Yeah, and see, for me, because I'm so loyal, if you can't be my friend if I can't be around you on a regular basis, I don't want to rock with you because at some point you're gonna be disloyal. You're gonna lie on me. You're gonna talk about me behind my back. You're not gonna have my back. You might be jealous of me. You name it. It could be a number of things.
Yeah, well, okay, so I have friends that I grew up with that I still associate with. Like I could usually those type of friends, the connection doesn't happen unless I make the call, and I'm okay with that because that's just not who they are.
Right.
But we'll get together, hang out. Well, I'm not, and they're friends, but I'm just not necessarily looking for like I call you all the time and we talk about
Everything.
anything and everything, what's going on. Sometimes there don't be nothing to talk about, and I just try to figure out what could I talk about right now. But then there's some people who they cool. I don't know. I just don't want to hang out with them. It's so many of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's so many of them. I try to keep. I have a big circle, but I also have a small circle within that big circle. That if I have, well, okay, you saw the birthday at my birthday,
Yeah.
and
That was intimate.
right, that was intimate, and there's only a few other people that I would have at that.
Well, it's funny that you say that, right? Because I remember several years ago being at one of your birthday parties at your house. And hell, there had to be 50, 60 people there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
And you got up to thank everybody before they cut the cake, and
Yeah,
you because what he didn't tell y'all is that in addition to the barbecue man, the barber, the teacher, the bodyguard, the bounty hunter, the card salesman, you were a comedian, an onstage comedian.
yeah, I did comedy. Like, let me tell y'all something. Comedy is not for the married guy with kids and a mortgage. That's a single man's game, though.
Right. So
Yeah.
so at your party though, you were being your authentically comedic self, right? And so you asked, turn the music down. You wanted to say something to everybody. Now I was just a few feet behind you. I was leaning on the counter. I remember it like it was yesterday. And I was thinking, wow, this is about to clown. You got a whole audience in here. You about to clown. And you said something along the lines of, normally I would crack some jokes and clown and bag on some people right now. You said, but today I actually want to say something a little bit more serious. And I'm like, whoa, okay. And you said something that has now become a very casual urban quote, but it wasn't at the time. You said, there are some friends who are there in your life for a reason, some for a season, and some for a
lifetime.
And the wise man figures out the difference. And I was like, bars.
Oh, that was a bar.
Like,
that was a bar. And you know what? I didn't make that up. I heard that somewhere.
Sure. It was a quote, but it wasn't used. Like now, the way our phones listen to us, by the time we get off this episode, you probably turn your Instagram on and you'll be like, oh, wow, somebody put that quote. But because a lot of people use it now. But they didn't use it like that then. We're talking about at least 10 years ago. They didn't use it like that.
No. Yeah, and I said it because There were so many people there, and a lot of them people there were friends for a season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get too many reason friends. I don't get too many reason friends because people like me and you, we reason friends out, or we eliminate the reason.
Cut that.
Yeah, we eliminate the reason for that person, or we avoid them altogether. So majority of the time, you and I have friends for seasons and lifetimes. So so yeah, but I thought it was appropriate at the time because there were a lot of people there, and there were some people there for a reason because they knew the food was gonna be good. You know, they was cool with me, but like, oh yeah, we
The
going,
food was always good.
we going to his house.
There's always some good stuff.
Yeah. And my ex knew how to decorate. She's like to do that stuff. So it made good. It made I think I still got a picture, bro, of all those people in the backyard.
Yeah, it was people everywhere.
Yeah, there's people everywhere. We took a really big picture, and yeah, that was. I don't even remember how old I was in that, but I do remember a majority of the people that were there were from my job. When I started working at CarMax, that became like a second family.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it can happen like that if you're in a place where you got a lot of people where you can be. There can be a lot of genuine type of interactions going on constantly. You getting to know people and they get to know you. And
yeah, I mean, I was always up there, either hanging out with you or buying cars. I bought about 6 cars from there. So I got to see it for myself. It was like hanging out. It was almost unfair to have a job like that where you could be that laid back and that social.
It was the closest thing to the barbershop.
Yes.
But selling cars.
Yes. Yeah. And you don't get that at other dealerships.
Nope.
I've got friends that have worked for all types of dealerships, and I've been there and seen them all. You don't get that. Everybody is trying to make sure they get to the car first. They see the person getting out their car and they running down the stairs trying to get to them.
Yeah.
You don't see that anywhere else.
But it was the leadership that we had there. But yeah, it was a good time. I mean, yeah, if you ask my ex, I probably got divorced because of CarMax.
Prepaid legal.
Read it all. Whatever.
Rabbit holes.
You pick one. Any church will do.
Calling you Bugs Bunny.
Any
the Volkswagen Bug Club. Hey. Bugs Bunny. Okay, so look, I want to switch gears, but before I do, I want to jump right back on what you said about the quote, because in the season that I'm in right now, I have gone through some relationship purging, and it forced me back to the quote, to the moment that you said it, because again, in the moment that you said it, I thought it was profound, but at that point in my life, I wasn't in a place where I had to examine which category people in my life fell in.
Yeah.
So I was just like, man, that's heavy. But literally this year, I found myself replaying that moment in my head, going, wow, some for a season, some for a reason. Wow, that's tough. And because of that, yes, I've been doing a little surgical tactics with relationships, because I'm at a place right now in my own life where it's got to be personal. If it's just transactional, I can find any random person to do business with. So if we don't have a connection, I don't even really want to rock with you, because it could go left. And if it go left, I said this in another taping of this same episode. I said, personal relationships, I don't have a problem with a personal relationship having a transactional element. But if something happens in our personal relationship, we can't do no business until we fix the personal.
True.
And if we can't fix the personal, I'm done with the transactions.
Yeah.
I'm done. So that's where I'm at in this season. I've been purging some relationships and examining them, and then actually going back and looking at the bigger, broader picture of those relationships, going, yeah, this was probably headed that way from the beginning. Even our episode in Vegas last year, seeing our friend, and that's a whole other
and
episode.
that threw me.
That's a whole other episode.
That threw me way for a loop. I was like, is that who I think?
Yeah, that's.
And I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Sorry to tease y'all. I'm not gonna get into that in this episode.
Yeah,
that becomes its own episode.
Yo, that was crazy.
One of my friends did to me, and what I did to him, and how the two don't jive. What I did and what he did don't work.
Yeah, I was totally taken back.
It was tough.
But yeah, no, I have really close friends that I am still close with, but I don't talk to them nearly as much as, I don't know, we just don't, we don't talk. We don't talk a lot. Honestly, when I do talk to them, I don't really have a whole lot to say or to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, and we'll have a conversation. We can get together and we can pick it up
right
where we left off. But if I don't talk to you, if I don't talk to you for a month, because there was a time where we didn't communicate a whole lot for a minute. We're not like we do now. But now I'd always call you to come to the rescue whenever I was going through something, because I knew I could.
But you knew you could.
I knew.
There's a season that you were in at CarMax where you were really deeply entrenched in that social culture.
I was.
And it was still work though.
Yeah.
So you was working all the time, and that gave you another escape that we don't need to go into.
Yeah.
But what it did was it kind of engulfed you to where you were always deeply involved in everything CarMax, from relationships to the business of selling cars. Yeah, I mean, you'd be up there even when it wasn't your day to work, and so,
that's because I liked to be there.
Yeah, so that took up a lot of your time, but the cool thing is our relationship, the depth of our relationship never changed.
No.
And then we both had young kids, and when you got young kids and you trying to actually be a present father and a present husband and all that, you ain't got time for a whole lot of socializing. Not a whole lot.
No, I was.
Well, you had it at work though. You had it through work, and
I was always at work.
You had some other situations going on that in your world, in your private world, that it made it work for you. And I didn't have that going on. I was at peace. I had a good situation, and I didn't want to do nothing but go to work and go home and go fishing. I wanted to go fishing. So, we would fish. We'd still fish. But
I just wanted to go to work and go home when everybody was asleep. Y'all sleep yet?
They do.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way home. Yeah.
So okay, so I want to transition now.
Oh, we still taping?
Yeah, we're still in it.
Oh.
I want to transition now into something that we were on our way to talking about before. But I wanted to flush out that comment about the quote because I thought it was really, really important. But along the lines of friendship, what have you learned about yourself in the more recent years as it pertains to friendship? Because I've been doing a lot of self-examination. I've been looking at me a lot and seeing how I can grow and change and do whatever I need to do to be even better as a friend and a brother. Because losing friends makes some people do that. Some people, they'd be like, oh, well, I mean, you're gone, whatever. But for me, because of how I was raised and my whole life's journey, which is a whole other conversation, friendship meant so much to me that I would sometimes go past the point that I needed to go with a friendship because I didn't want to lose friends.
Oh. So I've never been like that. I the friends that I do have, so I've never, there's only one recent friendship that I terminated, but it
That's a strong word.
yeah, and I've never really had to do this. I've never really had to do this, and I was with my business partner.
Yeah.
However, that relationship only resurfaced because I was looking for him.
Mm.
I missed my friend. So in my whatever he was going through, he wasn't looking for me.
Right.
I was looking for him because we had a great friendship and we did a lot of things together. Now, it doesn't negate that I knew the type of person he was. I already knew who he was. I just didn't think that things would happen the way they did. And because they did, I realized you're not the type of friend I need anyway. That was a very transactional friendship that became the friend for a reason. It was never what I thought was the lifetime friend was the reason friend.
So, but you said you knew who he was. You just
His character.
He'll never be that person
with me.
And that's Las Vegas. That's Las Vegas.
Yeah.
You like a person so much that you see them in all their glory, but you thinking, yeah, that's terrible how they get down, but that's my home.
That's
we're gonna be good, and that is Las Vegas.
Even when I would
Ironically,
see him
Las
do
Vegas.
right,
It's ironic.
Ironic.
That is Las
both
Vegas.
of them out there.
It's Las Vegas.
They might run into each other. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and honestly, I got no regret. I have no remorse if I never speak to that person. It ain't too many people that I feel that way about. Like, you know what? My life would be better off if I never speak to you again. I can't say that about, yeah. And then people are asking about it, and I'm saying, man, y'all don't talk anymore. I said, yeah, I can't begin to tell you how much I don't care about that. Yeah.
Well, see, and that's deep because the other day I was on Instagram and Erica Campbell, Mary, was on doing a live video, and she talked about forgiveness, but she was talking about the church and how the church has not made themselves available for forgiveness towards people. The church has majored more in forgivelessness.
Mm.
Wow, that was powerful. And so it made me think about it. So I reposted it, and then but I put a comment and I said that while we should forgive because we have been commissioned and commanded to forgive, that does not mean that we have to be in fellowship.
True.
I don't have to rock with you to forgive you.
Yeah, and I'm good. I'm not even, but I can say that I'm not holding anything against that person. Like I forgive you, and I should be thanking you.
Yeah.
Because all the stuff that I went through with you has put me in a better place in life.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear it was a 9-month breakup. I felt like I was pregnant and it took 9
You
months.
break up the pregnancy.
It was for yeah,
Pregnant breakup.
because the labor pains that I went through. I'm in a relationship with a person that I voluntarily got involved with,
Yeah,
went into business with.
yeah.
It went south, super south,
Bottom.
and then
It was bottom.
and
I had a
then
front row seat. It was bottom.
and then the breakup is with somebody that you can't get rid of. You can't even get rid of the person because you tied to them in so many different ways where you have to really just map out the breakup. Is like, oh, I'm trying to map out like, how I'm gonna get rid of this nigga, man. Like, I can't kill him. they might find out. So, yeah, that's why I started watching Dexter again.
I need some new tactics.
Need some horse
It
tranquilizer.
makes me think about this girl I was engaged to. Because I've been married 3 times. I've talked about that on podcasts, but I've been engaged several times.
Oh, I ain't know.
Oh man, I've been engaged. Outside of the 3 marriages, I was engaged 3 other times. And one of the girls I was engaged to, we broke up like 3 months before the wedding, and it got so bad. One day we were arguing. We were at my condo, and we were arguing and arguing and arguing. And I said, "Get the hell out of my house!" And she said, "No." And I said, "Get out of my damn house!" No. And I said, "Fine. I'm leaving."
Right.
I'm
out. Right.
I'm like, as I'm walking out the door, I'm like, this got me ready to leave my own house.
Right.
This is crazy. And I left my house. I was like, okay, I can't take it. Can't take it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel you. I had a front row seat to that.
Yeah.
That was tough to watch.
But the original question was, what have I?
Yes.
It was, what have I learned about me?
Yeah. What have you learned about you? Because you can use, like, for instance, that particular.
Well, I can use that. Okay, so what I learned with that particular relationship is that I had to use a great deal of restraint. I had to be very. It was a chess game, and I don't like having to do that. Play chess with someone from a negative standpoint, where I'm already knowing like this friendship is dead. It's no longer, especially when you talk to me crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you go there and then, it's like you treat me like a child. I'm trying to talk to you and you say crazy stuff. And I'm like, did you hear what you just said? Like, who says that, bro? Like, who says that? I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
That whole throwing stones from a glass house is real.
Yeah.
And I'm trying not to go there.
So in light of you saying all that, it makes me think even further about the quote, not your quote, but the quote or the thing that Erica Campbell said and what I said about forgiveness and forget the whole concept of forgetfulness and that, because I also said forgiveness keeps your heart in a place where there's room for reconciliation. And I get it, because if we're looking at this from like a biblical perspective, forgiveness is the thing that allows us to come back to God, right? He does his thing for us. He hung on the cross. He died for us. Our sins are cleansed, but we still do wrong. And he says, come to me and I will give you forgiveness so that we can be in fellowship.
Yeah.
But that's because he's God. He's perfect.
Yeah.
But I still, in my heart, sometimes I allow myself to feel like if there's ever a way for us to reconcile, my heart forgiving you will allow me to receive reconciliation with you. I just know that it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, because I'm thinking about what you're saying right now. And I'm like, did I really forgive him then? Is there a part of me that wants to see him have a downfall? Because I know I can say, yeah, I forgive him. But if I ever saw him have like something crazy happen and he go bankrupt or something, is there a part of me that's gonna have cheerleaders on the sideline?
All right, so we don't have time to get off into Vegas, but there's something that I need to say to connect to that point that I never said. I don't even think I said it to Mika, not from this perspective. So while that moment when we were sitting in the car outside the hotel hurt me,
Who?
Me and you and Mika
in
Shelly,
Vegas.
That hurt me.
Yeah.
But the other thing that happened that I tripped off of was I saw, and this is directly to your point about would you have cheerleaders if you know.
Right.
I saw the fall.
Yeah.
I saw, because the last time I had seen him, he was in another stratosphere.
Right.
And to
with
see
the bike
him like
thing.
I saw him meant that he was at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, that's trading places. That's more than
yes. And so as much as I felt my feelings were hurt that a guy that I called my brother would do me like he did me, I felt bad.
Because look where you are.
Yeah, because I knew what his dreams were.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wow, look how he is falling.
Right.
Because I honestly I expected him with how when we separated, he was really on that. He getting ready to be the man.
Because you hadn't seen him.
And I hadn't seen him.
You did not
anywhere. And I wasn't rocking in his world.
That's like going, like you might as well be homeless. You might as well have seen him on the street in a cardboard box.
That's how I felt. Yeah. It was like, wow, has he fallen that far? Yeah. Bro, I mean, he was here. And when we saw him, he was, you can't even see the hand in the frame. He was, and I was just like, I processed that, but I never talked about it. I talked to Mika and I said, wow, it's clear that things haven't worked out for him. But I never talked about how it made me feel.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, because I knew what his dreams were. I knew the trajectory he was on at the time. But my one of my dearest clients and friends has this saying. She says, be careful with your life. In other words, be careful how you treat people. Folks say karma. Christians will say the law of sowing and reaping. But her way is just the old country way. Be careful with your life.
It's all relative.
That, he did me wrong, so God gonna strike him down. But you said you saw how your homeboy was getting down. You just never thought he would do it to you. Yeah. But the fact that he got down that way, and then yes, he did do it to you too. He's done it to a lot of people. And when you do enough of that, the air in your balloon is gonna come out.
Yeah. Then when you think that it's not gonna happen to somebody else, or you see that person get involved, like when he got involved with Pat.
Yeah.
I was watching like, oh, I see how this is. Oh, he using it. Brother don't even see it.
Right.
And I can't say nothing because I don't want to be a hater or put it out there. But I did keep my eye on it. And when I didn't see that person no more, I said, it happened. Until I finally talked to him. And then when I talked to him, he was hesitant to talk to me because he wanted to know what happened to me. Because he was being told something else. Yeah. He was like, man, how are y'all doing that well? And then all of a sudden, I was like, yeah, because it wasn't what you thought it was. And then you hear his story, and I'm like, yeah, yep. And the problem is, we want vindication. We want God to get him ASAP.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about God is He's so sovereign. He's like, that's not my will, Chan. What's that gonna do for you?
Right.
It's just gonna make you say I told you so. It's not gonna help you get any better. It's not gonna make you bless the next person. It's just gonna you. It's just redemption for you.
Right.
You can get your pom pom out, and that's probably why it hasn't happened. And I'm not. I don't necessarily want that to happen. I mean, I ultimately,
Does.
part of me does. Yeah, probably.
You have to reconcile that. That's for you to work out.
Yeah, but I mean, it would have. I think anybody
Yeah,
would have went through because
I
I got
front row seat, and a part of me wants it.
bro.
Too.
You and everybody else that's around me wants it to happen.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you remember that scene in New Jack City at the end where Nino Brown gets shot by the old dude?
Yes.
And Ice-T does this, puts his head down and walks off. That would be me.
That's it. I ain't gotta say nothing.
Yeah, somebody else
told you.
Right? And here's the crazy part. It may take years for it to unfold, but he's getting in bed with people right now who are real.
Yeah.
That he ain't not gonna be able to do that too.
Well, you know, I've always had this saying: when you put the coin in the jukebox, the song is gonna play. Unless the jukebox is unplugged, it's gonna play. Right. So when you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to get a result.
Right.
And the more you do it, especially if it's negative actions, the bigger the response is going to be, because you're gonna run across the right person.
Yeah.
That's not gonna say, "Oh, forgive and forget," like homeboy said in Four Brothers, "Forgive and forget." No, you're gonna run across the right person whose bark and bite is bigger than yours, and it's not gonna be right.
Right. So we're talking about friendship. This is really not to talk about people in particular, but y'all get what we're saying.
Yeah, we ain't named no names. You do the math.
Yeah.
So look, I am glad that you came over, man, and we got a chance to do this. There's so much more.
I know. I'm like, we finished.
We gotta wrap this stuff up, man. I don't like them podcasts that go on for 2 and 3 hours because I got stuff to do.
It depends on what I mean. You can do it with while you're cleaning.
Oh well, first of all, this season was all about relationships. Next season, we're focusing on the creative space, and I'm gonna have you come back so we can talk in more detail about your restaurant. There are so many questions that I have that I haven't asked you about this journey that you're on with being a restaurateur and being a person who's innovative with the art of barbecue. But I want to talk about that from a creative perspective because you and I are both creatives and entrepreneurs. So I'm looking forward to you coming back next season so we can really clown and talk about that stuff. But it was important for me to finish off this episode the right way with the right person. And again, I shot 2 or 3 different versions of this already, and they never landed like they should have for one reason or another, and now I know why. It was a conversation that needed to be had with an authentic person, somebody that I'm connected to, and somebody that's gonna keep it real.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for being here. This seems really formal at the moment because when you start doing podcast wrap-ups, you start shifting back into the performance mode of it. But I don't need to do all that. Look, this is Life Interrupts Us, the podcast. I've told you a story. I'm just happy that we got a chance to talk about some of this stuff and do some reflecting. I'm most appreciative though of our friendship. I was thinking about you the other day, and thinking about what I've been going through with this purging cycle that I'm in with people. I was thinking about how dear you are to me as a brother, and I want you to know, man, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for what's going on in your life, the transitions that you're in, and the newness of things. And I'm glad again to have a front row seat
Yeah.
I've had some front row seats to some things that you know I didn't like because I voiced that I didn't like them for you. I've been very vocal about what I didn't like. But I'm excited for you in this season, and you mentioned your birthday party that we just celebrated earlier this month. Um, I was I was happy to see the love that was happening at the table without having to have the crowd of 40 and 50 people.
Right.
It was dope to see that. It was like this is cool. This was cool.
Right. Yeah, there were a few other people that just couldn't make it, but they couldn't. We had no room at that table.
Oh yeah, no, I mean I'm sure there were, but it was a good representation of where you are in your life.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's almost a 180-degree turn because I was down bad for a minute. But even though I was down bad, I didn't let it bother me as much. Not too many people could have handled what I went through.
Bro.
Not too many people could have stomached. They would have quit. They would have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But I was
snapped.
I was in such a position where I said to myself, "This is all I have. I am not going to let this slip through. I'm not gonna throw it.
You fought for it.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna throw in the towel, but so when you got somebody that you in cahoots with, it's like, man, just shut it down. I'm like, well, so what am I supposed to do? I can just go get a job. Like, what? What? Who says that? The person that has everything that doesn't need this is like, man, you can just go get a job. I'm
They
like,
handed him out over there.
are you kidding me?
And eighth.
Yeah, the 53-year-old man is out here trying to get a job. They can pay somebody half his age, half the price to do
Yeah.
for longer. Like, I mean, get out of here, champ. So yeah, no, I fought. I did not take the gloves off. I kept the gloves on, and I planned my strategy that some thought that I couldn't.
Well, you shadow boxed well because you didn't throw one punch.
Yep.
And I think it was the not throwing of a punch that allowed you to be successful. It reminds me of when Moses was told to go tell the children of Israel to go speak to the rock so the children of Israel could get water.
Yeah.
And he had lost his cool and he hit the rock instead. And hitting the rock angered God because he said, "You didn't trust me enough. You were disobedient to me. So now I can't let you in." So you kept your gloves on, but you kept your arms at your sides, and you shadow boxed. And
I did, but I also knew that I was dealing with I was dealing with someone who was very volatile and unpredictable.
Yeah.
And I needed to keep that person in a place of predictability so that so I could know what I'm dealing with. Because as soon as you, it's like them firecrackers in the 4th of July we used to find and didn't go off.
Yeah.
And we break them in half and light them. That's how short that fuse was.
Quick. It's quick.
Yeah, so I wasn't trying to put a match to that. And there were times where I was literally being held, here, take this match and like this fuse for me. And I was like, nah. Yep, trust me, there are times, man, where I just wanted to, man, like, yo, hey, I'm going to go buy some boxing gloves. Meet me here.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, but yeah, I knew that my life, my life and my well-being depended on it. And so I had to really suck it up, man. You're talking about pulling money from wherever I could. My credit went down to 2. I let everything just so I can stay.
So you can survive.
Just so I can stay. Yeah, I use
like open water.
Yeah,
Sharks
bro.
all around
Bro.
you.
I was using
for your life.
every resource I had. I was using it, and yeah, but because I had friends, you there with me the whole time. You my voice of reason. I don't really give you a lot of advice, but I always come to you for it because for some reason, it doesn't always make sense. I don't always listen, but a majority of the time, hearing your perspective gives me, and a lot of times you've been through some of the stuff I've been through, so it helps me, to stay grounded. Like, okay, all right, maybe I shouldn't do that. It's like, all right. And then when I tell you I'm doing stuff, sometimes you're like, oh man, that's a good move. So, you know, and only because I can trust you.
Yeah.
As I learned with my partner, there's things I share with him that he take and use against you.
Throw him right back at
Oh
you.
my God. Oh my God. I've never seen the gaslight. So it's ridiculous. It's man. And then when you talk, and I hate to always bring up this person, but this person has been instrumental in having some of the worst character that I've ever seen. I've seen a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, ain't a lot of people beating this guy, bro. Not a lot of people beating him. I know some narcissists. I know some egotistical narcissists, but man, nobody that I've ever known or encountered can top this guy. And I'm in a personal relationship where I can't get out of. But the time, it really had to marinate. It's like I said, bro, 9 months of pregnancy is what it felt like. The labor pains all the way up until I gave birth, October 27th. And after that, it was still a struggle because, like a baby, I was a single parent.
Yeah.
I was raising that baby by myself,
With an EBT
trying
card.
with an EBT card, trying to figure it out. Couldn't get no help from nowhere. Trying to apply for a Costco card that I've been spending at least $3,000 to $5,000 a week at Costco, and I can't get a credit card with them because my personal joints was toe up.
Yeah.
Yeah, so imagine that. Imagine you going somewhere and they, hey, why don't you get a credit card? It's like, nope.
Costco, you listening?
Yeah. I'm like, nope. They're like, well, why? I was like, because I already tried. It's like, well, when I was like, my credit's too bad. He said, well, you here every while? I'm like, yeah, I spend at least 10 to 20 grand with y'all every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I can't get a car. Yeah, they'll take my money. Yeah, exactly. They'll keep taking the money, but I can't get there. Costco, bro. Yeah, but it's all good. I'll get there. But things are a lot better now, and I'm trying to not make a lot of the same silly mistakes that I've made in the past in the relationship. Trying to be right with that. I'm in a good place with that person. I don't want to mess that up. I didn't want to mess up what I had before, but it was it was years and years and years of not having the friendship with that person because of self-righteousness and not being the same person that you were before when I can see you be fake. Isn't nothing like seeing a person be fake and you be like,
hey, you just put a mask on.
Like, really? Like, what?
I just saw you put the mask on.
Right.
No, you didn't.
That's like,
That's not your real face.
Right. So you don't want to go to the party because they got a new car? Really?
Hey, life interrupts us all the time.
Oh, man.
Well, man, I'm glad that we had a chance to do this. We talk all the time.
Yeah.
You could literally just record our conversations and do
it'd be a whole podcast. Yep.
Of a podcast talking about all kinds of subjects.
Yep, you sure could.
But I'm glad you came through. This has been refreshing for me because this was the right episode to shoot with the right person to shoot it with. This is my brother, Mike Henry. I'm Stephen Wayne, a storyteller. And just keep doing what you got to do to overcome the interruptions because life interrupts all of us.
Yes.
All the time. The question is, how do you respond? Y'all be good.
Be good.
So you've come to the end of another episode of Life Interrupts Us, the podcast, and I hope that you've been thrilled by the storytelling. I hope that you gained some insight from some of the guests. I hope that you have come away putting more value on your own stories. But let's be clear, life interrupting us is not a random thing. Sometimes it's just the facts of life. Sometimes it's at the hands of someone else. Sometimes it's at the hands of ourselves. So, whatever you decide to do, just make sure that you focus on being a victor and not a victim. That you focus on being an overcomer. That you focus on being the winner and not the loser of this game called life. Start telling your stories. I'm going to keep telling mine. I'm Stephen Wayne, and I'm honored to be your storyteller. This is the podcast where life interrupts us. So here's the thing. If you don't play, life wins. So let's play. Take care of yourself.